Hey, hey, hey. Arkham Tuesdays here. Bad Publicity. You're joined by the familiar faces, the familiar voices. And we are lost in time and space today. I had so many probably cool little intros that I was going to use, but I had to scrap them all because I don't want to spoil anything for people. So this is it. This is the pinnacle. This is the peak of Dunwich. What's going on, fellas?
Not too much, man.
Been pretty busy, but so far everything's been pretty good.
All right, Shomar, you're done, right? You've packed Ash Campede away.
Yep. It feels good. It feels good.
Yeah. So
I'm kind of sad, but it feels good at the same time because I know that now we get to start anew and play some new characters. But
yeah. You didn't have to worry about his dog getting kidnapped and the
that was huge.
The designer's suggestion of just pick a new character.
Yeah. So that was huge, but at the same time, like, you played the same character for like 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to give it up and try something new for the next cycle. But
you're invested, man. Excited. You're invested. And then you had John that was doing the power. If you guys want any tips on how to power run here, Arkham, you can talk to John. He's had the same character continuously from
all the way from the start, all the way to. I haven't played this Lost Time in Space yet, so we'll probably get to that, maybe in a week or so. But yeah, so far it's all 4 of our characters in our campaign group have gone from start all the way to the end. Starting from burning down the house, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's including 2 sides, right? Carnival.
Yes, that does include 2 sides. Yeah. So we're at the point of we're pretty close to being dead.
So, so just for those, you guys like first monster encounter after setup, right? And done.
Yeah, it's pretty much like it's like no elder sign, no bulletproof vest. Let's mulligan that.
So to give people a rough estimate, what are you doing with your experience, and just for pure numbers, like going into this one here, how much experience do you have?
I think I have maybe 4 or 5 available.
4 or 5 available?
I don't have a lot.
What are you just
spending it all?
Yeah.
I'm spending it all. Like I said, I spent it all on like elder sides and like bulletproof vests and stuff, because my character's starting literally. So I've been playing skids, right? And I think I'm starting at something like 3 health trauma and like 2 brain trauma. So I'm pretty much like one encounter draw away from dying. Right. So a lot of it was for me was spent for just keeping myself alive, so to speak. So I haven't spent a lot of it in terms of being able to. I mean, I do have some pretty expensive stuff, right? It's like sure gambles, hot streaks, bulletproof vest, elder sign amulet. So there's a lot of money spent on those.
The my experience here hasn't. I can tell you that I started a playthrough on upping the difficulty level, and I'm going through as Rex. Rex is a clue grabbing machine until his weakness comes into play, and then he. I'll tell you that I underestimated his weakness, and it can pretty much freeze you out for a good couple turns. It's ridiculous. I got pinched one time with it, and there was just no escaping it. I just had to. Hopefully, my partners. I was like, you guys need to do some work, because I just need to go over here and resign, because I'm useless. I got handicapped with with some Mythos cards that were lowering my all my base skills anyway, and then I'm automatically failing shit with Rex. Okay. It was all over the place. I was just a walking disaster of.
So you're pretty much just like, I'm not even risking this.
I can't. I was like, I can't contribute anything because no matter what from his weakness, I'm failing. Automatically off the first one. So it's just like I couldn't shake it. I couldn't, especially with the difficulty up and the more chances to fail are just in my face.
Right. Or the bad penalties and stuff. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you have done it in normal mode though? Would you have taken the risk?
Oh yeah.
Was it the risk that's bad?
Yeah.
In hard, it's the
because
penalty's worse, right?
Yeah, our bag is looking pretty gruesome. all the negative tokens that are in there.
Too bad we don't have we need like a token bag overlay. Just like, what's in your token bag?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's look at all the goodies that we're getting here in Lost in Time and Space. It looks like, so, hopefully you are in a little better situation than John, and you got some experience to spend because shit's pricey, boys.
Yep, pay up.
Here we go. Diving in first, we have a upgrade of Vicious Blow for Guardian. Who wants to bring this one in?
So you're looking at a 2-cost XP. It's got the 2 fight symbols, and it says if the skill test is successful during attack, deals +1 damage and +2 damage instead if it succeeds by 2 or more. So already you're getting the +1 off the original Vicious Blow only gave you 1 symbol, right? And it didn't have the stuff in the brackets. So for 2 XP, I like this card. I think the extra 1 is pretty good, and the ability to deal 2 damage +2 damage instead of +1 is always good. It's in this game sometimes it's not about the amount how easy it is to hit, it's how much damage you can deal, because it's a lot more action efficiency, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I like the fact that you could deal +2.
I say let's be honest. If you have Vicious Blow in your deck still, this is an auto upgrade. I even like it if you don't have it to pull it in, because like John said, any time you can do a little extra damage is perfect. The only downfall off the first one was the only gave you 1 skill check icon. I mean, this one even doubles up the fight, right? So.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But that being said, it's still, I'd say it's what are you guys looking at? Above average?
I think it's above average for sure.
I would say it's above average. I don't think I'd go higher than that.
No.
I think the more interesting question is, do you run this, between this and the original Vicious Blow, what's your Vicious Blow count? Are you looking at 4? 4, all 4? Like, are you just throwing axes galore kind of thing based on the picture, or are you just upgrading your Vicious Blows to the upgraded ones and stopping, or are you doing 2 and 1, 1 and 2?
I'd probably just keep it as 2s. I don't.
Right.
I think if I'm running Vicious Blow already, I'm just upgrading both of them and calling it a day.
And then for that, for the 1 extra XP, it's a good deal. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this card is really good, but also, like Jameson said, you don't really need to go over just having the 2 of them. As long as you upgrade the core set Blow into the upgraded version, then you should be good. And it has a lot of good applications, especially currently. Not to spoil anything, but going into the last couple of scenarios. Actually, it's not a spoiler because we're pretty late. You guys know the card Conglomeration of Spheres. I just call it like scrubbing bubbles or whatever. All those bubbles, and if you attack it with a melee weapon, you have to discard the melee weapon. Just like sucks your weapon up.
Yeah.
So that's a card with 1 fight, and it has 6 HP on it. which is a very, very annoying card that just lingers. And having a Vicious Blow like this, you know you're most likely going to get to succeed by 2 or more, and you just wipe those annoying cards off the board so much faster. So I think that this is a really good card. Like Jameson said, if you have Vicious Blow already, just pay the XP and upgrade it and get it over with. You might as well.
Just Wesley just saying he played his first game and he got sucked off the train. That's a deadly scenario, man. But that's what happens when you don't have a ticket to ride. All right, pretty standard Vicious Blow, and I fully echo Shomar's comments there. What's next, guys? Monster Slayer.
Yep.
Fuck. I'll do this one. Monster Slayer is a 1-cost event. It costs 5 XP to buy, and it'll give you a fight symbol as well as a wild. Fight. If this attack succeeds against a non-elite enemy, defeat that enemy.
I don't know, man. I think 5 experience. I really wanted something big here, but
it's not big.
No, well, when you say non-elite, like the ones that you always have trouble with are the elites.
Yes and no. Yes and no. There are some very annoying non-elite cards.
Well, yes, there are. There are some very annoying non-elites. So I don't know, but it's just for 5 experience.
Yeah, that's the issue.
That's right. Like how many times is it going to be like I really need to wipe that one guy down, right? Like that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think you wouldn't go more than 1 in this. I think this is like your saving grace kind of card.
Do you know where so my thoughts on this card is, where I think this card is going to excel? When you replay the scenarios. Because I'm going to have, if this was in my deck and I'm playing a scenario for the very first time and I don't know what's coming, right? Like I haven't looked at any cards at all. I'm holding this card because I'm like, is this the right time? Is this the guy I want to use it on?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just second guessing the play time for the whole thing. And, there's going to be times when that one guy comes out that you're like, oh, I wish I had Monster Slayer. Because I really don't know. Unless you are Scrooge McDuck swimming in XP, you're probably, only going to be able to put 1 of these in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't think you're getting more than that. And I don't think you need more than that. Right.
I think it all depends, though, because there were a lot of cases where after playing a scenario and we would tally up how much XP we had, I would go into the next one and be like, I don't even feel like buying anything. I feel like my deck is fine. I'm going to be good whether or not I upgrade to get this new card. And so there were a lot of times where I was sitting on XP moving in, but then my playmates would all be like, nah, man, spend it, and kind of like force my hand at spending it. So I could see myself getting into the last scenario, especially after being like, 4 scenarios into the cycle where you're sitting on 10 XP going into the last round, and then you could pick up something like this just to make your day a little bit easier. Because as I was saying, there are tons of annoying non-elite enemies now. There's that one flying dude where if you're not hitting him with ranged or spells, he's super strong. Like I said, the conglomeration of spheres, I would love to just spend this one event and get rid of it in 1 hit. There's the new guys that come out in this last pack that turn clues into doom on a location and screw you over that way. Like, there are just so many monsters that have been included in this cycle that make this card one that would be useful to have. However, as Jameson said, if it's your first time playing the scenario, you don't know if it's monster heavy or if it's clue heavy. So this is not really a card that you can just throw in unless it's on a replay.
The stats, like taking the 5 out, the stats are really good. I mean, automatically defeat for 1, for a cost of 1, plus the wild and the the combat for a skill check there. I mean, you can't beat that value of the card, but just the 5 XP to get this.
I mean, the thing is though, so you look at it, and a shotgun costs you 5 XP, right? Just to put things in perspective, right? So shotgun gets you, 2 uses out of it, which, depending on, it's a variable damage, so you can do up to 1. You can do a minimum of 1 to a maximum of 5. So you could kill something, whereas this one, if you deal 1 point of damage, it's dead, right? So I don't think it's, if you've liked shotguns and stuff like that, I don't think the 5 XP is completely out of the question, and it actually, may be something to consider instead of if you haven't picked up shotgun yet, and you're considering picking up shotgun, maybe you go this way instead.
Yeah, or maybe if you are a little weapon light at the end here, maybe try and just throw one of these in and just hope for the best.
I think, John, if you're debating between this and shotgun, you take the shotgun, because chances are an elite enemy is going to pop up and then you're going to have a dead card in your hand.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I would personally go for the shotgun over this card, but this card does have its uses, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, what it is where I started to really look at the cards that you get in the pack and try and afterwards tie them to the scenario, and sometimes I think that they hint at a little something, like even if you don't want to spend your experience, I'm like more inclined to on these last couple ones now, because afterwards when I go back, I'm like, oh, this might have been a good card for this style of scenario. So this might foreshadow some stuff to come. So that being said, where do you guys think we should plunk this down? I mean,
this is a hard one for me.
Yeah, same with me. It's really it's the 5 XP that's holding it back from me. Everything else looks so good, but I mean, if it was super amazing, I would, and even if it did have a lot of XP, I would be saying to myself, nope, 2 copies. But part of me only wants to slide 1 copy in.
Yeah. I mean,
and
we had the Springfield in average, and I don't, just based on that, I don't know if this can go higher than average.
Yeah, that's where
I was going to suggest average.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we all agree. I think at this point it's an average. It's an average card.
Where do
the
think?
potential's there?
I would still put it over the Springfield, I think.
I think I would take Springfield over it, because I think you get more use out of Springfield.
Springfield 1 XP less 2. Right. 3 ammo, you're gonna get 3 plus 3, 2 damage. I would put this under the Springfield. I still, if I had the XP, I would probably take the Springfield over the Monster Slayer.
That's fair.
Okay. The Last Guardian. This is the big one that got spoiled a long time ago. This is the lightning gun. This is, someone run these stats for me, because this is just too ridiculous.
6 cost, 5 XP, as you said. It gives you 1 lore, 1 fight. For skill checks, it has 3 uses. Spend 1 ammo, fight. You get +5 fight for this attack, and it deals +2 damage. Just remember, it costs 6 to install.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. out of Guardian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously a heavy hitter. One thing to note, an important thing to note, is that it's 2-handed.
Yeah.
So that's also huge. I mean, you're spending $6. You're totally taking up your hand slots, and you get three shots with this, and +5 is huge. I mean, you should be able to take out most things with +5 easily, but it's just so expensive. in every way.
You know what though? This is the kind of card I want to see at the end of a cycle. This is where I'm like, give me that big daddy, honking gun. If I have 5 experience and I'm Guardian, I'm putting this in, right? Like this is like drool worthy for these guys. But that being said, I think it's going to really get you into some tough times where you're going to have when you have the money to pay for the resources to pay for this, and you're like, oh, I better put it down now. Well, not only are you taking the hit of 6 resources, but now both your hands are full.
Yeah.
And then
that's a problem for Guardian.
Yeah.
And I mean, so how much is Bandit? So that means to get that to work, you're running what, Bandolier, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is another $2, right?
Because Machete is such a linchpin card in Guardian, and I mean it will be forever. It's a damaging card that lasts the entire game. And how many times are you going to throw away that machete for a lightning gun? Other than to just be like, yo, guys, I just equipped this lightning gun. Check me out. I want to blow this thing away. And then after it runs out or whatever, and the enemy's still there, it's like, all right.
Help. Hello.
But
Reload, please. Extra ammo.
You know what, though?
Ammo.
It's so true to life that you're going to have that one guy in the group, right, that does that, right? That's always got to be over the top, right? Like, machete gone. Guys, check me out. All right. All of a sudden he gets a little trigger happy, like Rats comes out. Right, God. But it's just I think when you see something like this, you're like, you start to panic and you think that you're probably going to need it, especially how the build up to fight this is the last chapter. There's got to be this big bad guy. I think it sits well for its weight of experience-wise, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it being two-handed because, I mean, a lightning gun one-handed would be ridiculous. It's just the 6. The 6 install cost is really stopping me.
So how do we compare this to shotgun? So shotgun is 5, right? I mean, the symbols, I guess, don't really matter because you definitely don't want to be tossing that for fights, I guess, if you don't need to. So if you're tossing for 5, that's kind of terrible. So let's kind of ignore that. Although the lightning gun does give you more variety in terms of its symbols.
Yeah.
You're getting 2 uses out of the shotgun versus 3 out of the lightning gun. You're getting +3 versus +5. This attack deals +2 damage, right? So, you're dealing 3 damage on the lightning gun. Shotgun, I find most of our shotguns, the potential is higher, right? But it's not consistent. So it's spike damage versus consistent damage, right? So it's kind of like, if you're going to compare the lightning gun to anything, I think the shotgun is what you'd compare it closest to. And I don't know, I feel like,
but the lightning gun has no, like, the lightning gun's just pure bonus, right? Like, there's no negative ability stuff here.
Right. I mean, either is the shotgun, right?
Well, if you fail and would damage another investigator, the attack deals 1 damage for each point you fail by.
Right. Yes. Okay. So it's the same. If you fail and would damage another investigator, so it's the same spike damage to the investigator as just the lightning gun, right? You fail on the lightning gun and a monster's holding, I don't know, ash can or something, you're just gonna fry him with like +3 damage, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't, the damage in terms of dealing to who you're dealing it to doesn't. It's kind of the same in terms. It's just how much damage you're actually dealing, and I don't know. I kind of like the shotgun better.
Ooh, really?
I kind of do. I feel like Guardian and our, especially in our group, we had a lot of ways to you know, spike up that damage. So, you know, lightning gun is going to deal 3 all the time. You know, I find shotguns for the most part we were dealing average around 3, if not 2, and it was good enough to kill the monster anyways. And those times when we needed to you know, spike damage, we just threw cards into it, which increased the fight and increased the damage at the same time. Whereas the lightning gun, you know, I toss more fight into it and I get more fight, but I still do 3 damage, right? So I don't know, it's a toss up, but I'm kind of leaning more towards the shotgun than the lightning gun.
I still think though the guarantee, like I know I see what you're saying on the shotgun, and they are very, very similar.
Yeah.
And the negatives are also very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of what I would want, so I'm just thinking like, in terms of what I would want to have equipped during that last big boss fight, if I ever messed up a scenario, so like Ghoul Priest or Yog Sothoth or whatever.
Right.
Which one would you think, like which one would you prefer to have at the beginning of your turn, fully stocked, and you've got 3 actions?
I'll put a line in the sand and just say I think lightning gun, like, as much as you can say it's going to be situational, it's going to be all this stuff, I just think it's really balanced. 3 uses, I think it's super powerful, plus 2 damage, and it offsets all that stuff with, you know, the install cost and the 2 hands.
Right.
I just think it's good.
What did we put shotgun as I'm trying to remember?
Shotgun's
core.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we ever decide where that went, or did we kind of? We never talked about it. I
think lightning is a good card.
Good. I would go either good or above average.
I say good.
All right. Good works for me. Let's do that. That works.
So does that mean that you think shotgun is great, John?
No, it's good, but above lightning gun.
Okay. Just wanted to see what you'd say.
All right. Into Seeker here, Dr. William.
So this is the one non-upgrade in the pack, I think.
Yes.
Yep. Seeker's getting a little bit of discount.
So he's a 1 to put into play.
Yep.
He's got 2 health and 2 stamina. He's got a tap ability there. When you draw an encounter card, exhaust him to place one of your clues on your location. Cancel the drawing of the card and shuffle it back into the encounter deck. Then draw a new card from the top of the encounter deck.
Shomar looks so unimpressed.
That's so trash, man. That is the most trash ally of all time.
I was thinking below average.
Really?
Yeah, I'm thinking terrible.
Really? Terrible?
Oh.
He's got 2 and 2.
Yeah, he's got 2 and 2, but okay. How many people are running cards that let them look at the top of the encounter deck? Like, how useful do you guys see that ability as being? Because I personally see it as almost useless.
My problem with it is that it cancels it and you shuffle it back in and then draw a new one. So I mean,
exactly.
If it would have gone to the bottom, this would be really good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're pulling a new one regardless.
I would.
So
I would rather use the Mystic card and just cancel it.
Yep.
There you go.
Right.
Terrible. This card is terrible.
Well, I don't know if it's terrible because it could say, like, this stays in play. Like, you could use this every turn if you wanted to.
Yeah, but you could also use it, cancel a card that's not that bad, and pull a card that's terrible for you.
Yes.
And you can do that every time. Like, you don't know. It's still completely random. You could pull the same card again. Like, what's the point of having this guy on the table when you could have other allies that do things?
he's not improving your chances because that card is just getting shuffled back in.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Right.
you're losing a clue to do it. So
Yeah, dropping a clue. I mean, it's in the faction that can afford it. I mean, if you're
Right.
picking up 2 or 3 clues a time with your old buddy Rex, then
I just don't see myself ever being like, "Okay, guys, I know that we need 6 clues to advance here, and that I've got 6 on me right now, but I'm gonna cancel this and drop this clue down and set us back 1 turn."
yeah, there's no way I want this locked door here. God damn, shuffle this back in, right?
And then you pull something else. It's like rotting remains. You're like, "Oh crap."
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't see it. I'm saying terrible, and then you guys can put it wherever you
Well,
want.
I
That's
said,
my-
I don't know. My initial was
don't think
below average, but I mean, I could slip it a little.
So I guess you have to have a clue to use this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just let's clarify that first off.
Yeah. And place one of your clues, so you have to do it.
Yes, yeah, of course. You definitely have to. If you have one, you got to place it back.
Well, here's the thing. While you think about it, laboratory assistant. I mean, laboratory assistant's doing probably more work, giving you that 2 draw, 1 for 2, and we said that was below average.
So this has to. So this is like falling into bad. I don't know if I wouldn't say it's terrible, but
No, I could let it slide to bad as an average.
all right.
If Shomar's saying terrible, I was saying it's below average. I mean,
I think we're going bad. All right,
Yeah.
so we'll say bad. Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
all right. Who's got the next one?
It's John.
Deciphered reality.
Crazy.
Ooh, here's the biggie.
It's, four cost. This is another 5 XP event, so get out that XP bank. It's got two knowledge symbols and a willpower symbol, so it's 3 symbols on this. Insight. The difficulty of this skill test is equal to the highest shroud value among revealed locations in play. If you succeed, discover 1 clue from each revealed location in play. Interesting.
It's interesting.
I don't know how often you have like 4 locations sitting around with like a clue on each one, right? We usually tend to kind of gather them in groups as we go along, right? You know, we go to a location, we gather all the clues, go to another location, reveal it. There's another 3 clues. Grab the ball and keep going. We usually don't be like, let's explore everything, open up, have like 16 clues sitting on the board, and just be like, all right, let's gather 4.
Mhm.
Right. So I'm not completely I mean, this does give you the option to get clues in hard to reach locations, or, you know, stuff that has, you know, some crazy shroud on it that's plus something or other, right? Because I'm assuming the highest shroud means not boosted shroud, like just, is it base shroud?
Yeah.
It doesn't say printed.
So it would be. So
Just whatever the highest shroud is, yeah.
So it doesn't
the
even help
locked
you
door
get
and
those
everything.
clues in that terrible location, because that's probably the worst ever. So actually, this is, now that's the case, I'm not even sure I like this card.
I like it. I think this card is pretty bananas because it's in Secret. I think that if you ever want somebody to test the highest shroud and you have clues there anyway, you probably need to get over there. This is saving you all that movement around the board.
You only get 1 though. You only get 1 clue.
Yeah,
from
but
each
imagine the
So are you
sweet spot.
talking about
how-
like 3 locations with 3 closed doors? Is this like
Imagine if
like
there's like
sealed
just,
city?
just clues everywhere, and each one of those locations just need 1 clue to be taken off, and those are XP points right there if you clear them. And you're just like, oh, and just right before you get to that location and the resign spot, and you see all these little ones that you left over that you couldn't get, and you're just like, I'm gonna decipher reality and get all this XP.
And then bail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. It sounds crazy when he says it, and you know, not to spoil the experience for you guys, but as Jameson said, cards like these are kind of a hint about you know, what's going to happen or what you might need. So into the last scenario, things can get very hectic, and it is awesome to have a card like this that exists. But I guess, how easy is it as a seeker to come across $4 to just drop on this? Is my question.
$4?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
No problem.
Peanuts, Christopher. Every time you're you got the best, the ally. That's every time you're investigating, you're getting money.
Okay. We don't have any seekers right now, so I'm just.
You make
bank.
Sure, I'm telling you, this is a good card. Borderline great card. It's all about seeker. So seeker, I've found out, especially. I mean, I know we're looking at it in a standard difficulty, but especially as your difficulty gets up, you have to account to say, like, I'm possibly going to fail. Like, you can't guarantee that you're always going to be like, oh, it's my turn, investigate, and that's, like, you know, clears a location. All of the cards throughout Seeker so far in Dunwich have done things to you to kind of give you free movements, you know? Pathfinder and all these other cards that let you move over. So you're not spending your actions on other things other than investigating. This card here lets you kind of, like, this card here could essentially be like such a blossom. If you guys are strong enough right now at this point to not have to stick together, spread out, you're opening up a whole bunch of locations, man, you could probably scoop like this is not even including cards that you could commit to that investigate check to give you additional clues.
Mm-hmm. Right, okay. So you're saying you might end up getting, you know, 2 or 3 clues on the location you're at.
Yeah.
And then 1 on everything else.
Yeah. I'm telling you that this card is value.
I agree. I don't disagree with the value of it. I guess my question is, how often are you at that point where you're getting, you know, that max potential out of this card? And if you're not, is there a cheaper or easier way of going about getting those clues? That's my only kind of, you know, issue about it. Like this to me would be placed, you know, like you said, somewhere good above average. It's definitely a card that sits on the more positive side of the scale. It's just kind of, for me, it's where it sits.
Shomar, you had thoughts on where you're thinking?
After seeing and being in situations where I was constantly thinking to myself, I wish there was a card that would allow me to blank, and that blank was do this. To me, that makes this card above average, and I think that it is one that you can use in a lot of scenarios that are out right now. You know, I don't think that it's very uncommon to have at least 3 revealed locations that are open with clues on them, and a lot of times you're discussing with your playmates, like, all right, there's 2 clues left there, but don't do it because I got a card that can pick up 2 clues right away, or there's 1 there, you move to the next place, reveal that, and then I'll come up after you and clean up the 1. This just allows you to stay in that one spot and be like, okay, you go reveal whatever you need to reveal. Just know that you can leave a clue behind because I can scoop all of them in one go, type of thing. And then if Jameson's telling me that you guys have, as seekers, great econ, then that makes this card a great, no, not a great card, but like a nice card to have. Yeah. A nice card. I need to watch my adjectives there.
Yeah, nice, I'll show you. Dr. Milan Christopher. After you successfully investigate, gain a resource.
Okay.
Like, so you're basically gaining a resource every turn if you have this guy out.
With Rex going nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a good card, a useful card. Very rarely going to be a dead card.
No, and I think and it's not even like I was using that crazy example of like get all the clues at the end to clean things up. This is something that's not only going to save you action times, but it's going to save you game clock time. Pop this, at the beginning, to advance the agenda, and you're ahead of the game, right? Like, it's to me, this is good.
If we had a card like this yesterday, things would have been a lot different. A lot different.
I'm looking at what we had in Great, and we had Pathfinder and Deduction, and I think in terms of the XP cost, I would rather take those over this. So I don't think it's great, but I do agree with those you guys that this is definitely falls into the good category.
Yes, sir. All right, what do we got next? We're into Rogue.
The biggie. Chicago Typewriter, 5 cost, 4 XP, 2 fight, 4 ammo. It's also 2-handed. Spend 1 ammo, fight. You may spend any number of additional actions when you perform this attack. You get +2 fight for this attack for each action being spent, including this ability's action cost. This attack deals +2 damage.
How come this ain't 5 XP?
Yeah, I really think that it should be.
Yeah.
I really think it should be.
I'm not sure why it's 4. I don't know if it's because there's not as many good weapons in Seeker. Or, sorry, not Seeker, but
Rogue.
The Rogue.
And because this one doesn't give you a stat increase off the bat, you got to spend actions to get it. But
no, you spend 1 ammo, you get including this ability's cost, right?
Oh, it's an immediate +2. Never mind.
Yeah. So you get minimum +2. So this is a normal +2, deal 2 damage off the bat before doing anything else.
Wow.
And then just if you're looking at skids with Milan, it's another. You can go 6 actions altogether, right? So you can do another 5 more on top of this.
Oh, skids and Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So you could go, +12.
And you wouldn't even need to. You just get 3.
No. Yeah.
So here's my problem with Chicago Typewriter, and I already said it off the top. Why is it not 5 XP, and why does it only cost 5?
5. That's why it's a great card. Next.
Yes, dude, I'm telling you, right? Like it's in the faction that it's not only does it does the
burn, right?
Yeah.
Right. So this 5 XP or 5 cost money in a Rogue in skids is just like, here, done. Right.
I mean, the only drawback is that it's going to be 2-handed. That's all I can see. It's even 4 uses, like 4 ammo you're putting on it. Not like the lightning gun had more drawbacks.
And has 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really think that this is the best Rogue upgrade. This beats out Lucky Dice.
Yep. This is great for sure.
So good. I love it.
You'll be putting this getting ready for some big wars here. And there's really nothing else to say. That's phenomenal. That's
That's cheap XP wise, cheap money wise, and the ability is amazing.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about it is that they got an artist named Tommy to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a Tommy gun.
They did. That's awesome.
It's a Tommy gun. Perfect.
We got an interesting card up next. We got the Golden Pocket Watch.
Exceptional.
TGPW.
So does somebody want to explain what this costs in XP?
So exceptional just means double, right?
It does.
So it costs 8 XP to get this into your deck. And is it my turn? I did the last one. Someone else can do this.
Sure. So it's got 2 symbols. It's got a willpower and a wild. And if I think you don't want to be using this card for those abilities for sure.
Not for 8 XP.
No. So it says when a phase begins. So it's got two fast abilities. When a phase begins, remove the gold pocket watch from the game and skip this phase. Or when after the phase ends, remove the gold pocket watch from the game and repeat that phase. So one or the other. So you pay 8 XP for one use, right? In that game, anyways. It'll stay in your deck, so you can use it again. It's not like Flay or something where it's completely gone. So you don't have to pay that 8 again. But it does, like you said, gives you some options to either skip a Mythos phase. If most likely you're probably skipping the Mythos phase or the enemy attack phase, if stuff is bad, or if you had a really good phase where you're like, oh man, I just got to shoot at this thing and it's almost dead. If we had another turn of just blasting it in the face with the typewriter, then yeah, you could use that too. So this card is pretty awesome. It's a cheap cost. The only thing is the XP cost is whether you can afford that or not.
I think you're wrong, John. I think everyone's going to use this to skip the upkeep phase. Actually, no, there might be some times when you might want to because of that one treachery card where if you run out of your deck, you take 10 damage.
Yeah.
Zero cards left, but it's like, yeah, let's skip upkeep, guys. I don't want to die yet.
So when a phase is skipped, it is skipped in its entirety. Reactions to that phase, beginning or ending, cannot be triggered because the phase does not ever begin or end. So if you use Golden Pocket Watch to skip the Mythos phase with Red Glove Man in play, the Red Glove Man is not discarded from play because his forced effect never triggers.
Secret tech.
I still think that's if that's what you're doing, that's a lot to
keep him in play. Yeah,
that's 13 XP for 2 cards.
but that'd be 13 XP like right now, right? Like that's I think like you've never upgraded anything for this. I don't know. So you know what? I really think it's cool. I think it's incredibly cheap. I think it's going on the board in a slot that is going to be open to the rogue as the necklace slot, just to be hanging out there. So you can, if you get it opening hands, all right, you might be able to put it down and just let it hang out until you need it. You don't have to try and hold this one back and stuff like that because there's never really going to be a real necklace-y thing that can probably overtake this one. I mean, right. Obviously not if you've just spent 8 to put it in. But it's all that is how much is it worth for you to skip a full phase? Right now, I don't know.
No. I don't think at this point there's ever a time when a phase really needs to be skipped. It would be nice sometimes. It'd be, a nice positive thing for everybody, but it's not anything that we necessarily need. Like, it's fine if it didn't happen. And so I feel like as a group, as a whole, everybody at your table would agree, like, bro, don't spend 8 XP on the pocket watch to skip a Mythos phase one time, maybe.
Like, I think if you're using this, it's like, you know what, it's near the end of the round, or near the end of the game, you need that one extra turn to deal the damage to kill the monster. You need that, one extra turn to keep the doom from going up so you don't cross over and, you're at your last scenario, that kind of thing. This is a pretty much, one turn away. I need that one extra turn to get by before I die. And it's almost like, do you spend the XP to save yourself when you're in that scenario, or do you just spend the XP on cards to keep yourself from getting into that scenario? Right.
Guys, this card can be said in a few ways here. The ability is frigging insane. But the value of it, I think you can argue different perspectives of it. if this is your first time playing this game and you get to this last scenario and you have 8 XP, for the love of God, just put 2 Chicago typewriters in your deck.
Yeah.
Do not spend 8 XP for a golden pocket watch in this. If you're going to play everything again, or maybe we look at what's coming. Maybe there's a better reason to have the golden pocket watch in, and you can spend off 8 XP, because who knows? Maybe there's a time when you're just swimming in it, or you put it in early after the second or third scenario or something. As it stands for me right now, the XP is very hefty, but the ability, I gotta bring it up a little bit. I'm struggling, but I gotta say that it's above average.
Above average.
I don't know if I can move it up to good because it's a one time. Because if I need it again, the next one I've got to spend it.
I was even just going to say average.
Average, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, and above average, I think we're looking at, what is it, Streetwise and Switchblade, right?
But this doesn't go into this comes back to your deck, right? The next scenario.
Yes, yeah. This is not
it's not exiled.
It's not exiled, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, if you put this in early enough, I think that's why I think it's okay. But as of right now, we're at the end, we're at the pinnacle. If you're going back and playing again, and maybe in the next scenario, if you can get this out, 4 XP. But right now, I think it's above average. And you guys are saying average, so
I would say I'm shifting towards average right now. That would be my thing.
Just cost-wise, too. Like, you can't show me Chicago typewriter, then show me this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then have this cost more than the typewriter by 3. Sorry, by 4. Shit, by 4.
Yeah, because double, right? Yeah.
I just assumed typewriter was 5 again. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's get down. We got two scenarios or 2 factions to go.
Yep.
I feel like Shrivelling has had 7 upgrades by now, right?
There's so many. 3 Shrivelling. Holy crap.
All right, who's got this? Me?
Yeah.
Shrivelling at 5, so this is costs 3 to put into play. You're going to have 4 charges on it. It gives you spend 1 charge for a fight. This action uses will instead of combat. You get +3 will and deal 2 damage for this attack. If one of the symbols is revealed, take 2 horror. Thoughts?
I would just put it on top of the other Shrivelling. I mean, it's nice. Tim played it yesterday, and it did come in handy. I don't think he pulled the symbol, so you didn't have to take the 2 horror. But it's just a next step up, and they've kind of just doubled everything. So instead of 1 horror, you take 2.
Yeah.
Instead of doing 1 plus damage, you do +2, and you get
+3.
1 additional will. So I don't think it jumps into a new tier. I just think it's obviously better than the last Shrivelling or whatever. You paid 2 more XP, but
I think it's below me. I think it's. I liked where Shrivelling was at. I don't know if I'm sitting there with the if I've already spent 3 XP. I don't know if I'm.
You're not paid.
Yeah, you just pay the difference.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right?
I've already paid. I'm already at the 3 XP to move it up to the middle one.
Right.
To do +1 damage. I think that the negatives here of the 2 horror for the symbol pull kind of brings it down a bit.
depending who you're playing.
Yeah.
If you're Agnes, then at least you're throwing 1 damage.
Yeah, but
And
that's
if you're playing, what's his name?
Jim?
Yeah, Jim.
you can.
There's that mitigation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
If you
just
pull the skull anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's worth it for that.
I can see that.
for that
I just
extra
feel like
damage.
it's not too bad because you're going to be sitting on
But at
XP and not really have anything to do.
five,
Right. I mean, okay, so we stuck Shrivelling 3 at the bottom of good. Right? So
I think
if you're
it's-
putting
I-
into
I-
another...
I think it's the top of above average. I think it's an
Top
above.
of
I
above
think it's.
average.
I think it's an above average card because I don't know if I want to spend 5 on this
Or
when I
2
already
more extra.
two more
enough.
two more extra for like I'm like what am I really getting out of it? Like
An extra symbol.
but if it was like, if it tilted more towards the good, but it kind of like they raised the positive and they raised the negative of the card. Both extremes.
But I mean, but we've always talked about you got +1 damage versus +2 damage, right?
Yeah. No, that's
So even if you take the symbol, it's +2 damage, and you're running Agnes, you throw that damage back. 3 damage is, you're
4 damage. Because you hit for 3.
Oh right,
and
+3,
throw
yeah,
the
so
one.
it's +3 and 4. So you are most likely killing whatever you're dealing with, as opposed to Agnes having 2 chances of having to spend 2 actions to kill it and potentially taking 2 damage
yeah. Okay,
each time,
yeah,
or one damage each time, which equals 2, versus the 1 chance of 2, right?
yeah, but that's now you're like totally looking at only 50% of the like. So you're basically it's only good in Agnes then.
Yes.
Mhm.
For that case, yes. For that scenario, right? Right. And then, like you said, Jim Cover can negate that negative anyways. So
I mean, it's a possibility. If you're playing Shrivelling, maybe you're just gonna update. Keep moving your Shrivelling up the chain as it
Yeah.
goes. But I just think if you're sitting at that middle one, I don't know. It'd be tough to come through. But you guys think both you think it's good?
I think it's good. I think it's enough to keep it where I've got no. If it's under good, I don't mind sticking it under Shrivelling instead of
Yeah, I think it should be
above
the
it.
same tier as Shrivelling 3.
Yeah.
And whether it's above or below,
It's
to
negative.
me, I'm okay with either.
Yeah, I'm good if it's sitting below.
All right. Ward of Protection. This is
Yeah, right.
there's a 5 here.
So it's 1 cost, 5 XP, willpower, and wild. Fast, play when you draw a non-weakness encounter card, cancel all of the card's effects and discard it, then take 1 horror. Versus the old Ward of Protection, which was fast, play when you draw a non-weakness treachery card, cancel that card's revelation effect, then take 1 horror. So this cancels any encounter, not just specific to treacheries only.
Right.
And again, in Agnes, this is great because you're turning that horror into damage right away.
Yep.
In Jim, it's still okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
one horror
one
is not
horror
the
to
worst
cancel.
thing. Yeah. Yep.
And this is far better than Dr. Terrible, who reshuffles the encounter deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever his name was.
Yep.
And easy peasy for me, I think that this is, for what it does, I think that this is a good card. The fact that it's not just treachery only, it cancels any card drawn off the deck. I think that it's good.
Non-weakness encounter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, non-weakness encounter.
Right.
I think that it's good. Yes, it's expensive, but it's doing a lot. And it's a will and a wild.
Yeah, so the symbols aren't terrible. Like if you have to ditch this for a check, it provides 2 symbols. So it's pretty good.
Sorry, Shomar, you said great originally, but then you said something about good in your description.
No. It's good. I keep using great, like just explain, like it's a great card to have. But in terms of its tier, I think it's just a good card. I wouldn't say it's great.
I could move it to great. I could move it to great.
I wouldn't argue against you.
I think the having the versatility to cancel any of those encounter cards is amazing. they kept it still at only like a buck or a resource.
Yeah.
Right. Like so the value like so what's so awesome about this is that you could blow your whole resources during your turn. Your upkeep, you're getting your one resource. So when the encounter cards come out, you now have that free money to pay for it. So you're never left high and dry.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So many times when I've played the original Ward of Protection, the encounter is drawn, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't use it on that. You know, like the versatility is blows this card out of the water.
Well, what do you think about the fact that you can only use it on a card that was drawn for you during encounters and not for your team?
I'm still okay with that. I mean, hell, come on, everyone for themselves at some point, right?
Yeah, I get it. I just feel like because of that minor detail, that makes it just less.
Yeah, but there's also cards out there like if you're playing that you can look at the top cards of the deck, and then I can order stuff. Now I have more flexibility to order that. And then get any card coming to me that I can cancel. I'll take the worst out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then just cancel it. Right. I think this is great. I'm kind of agreeing with Jameson. I think in terms of, the XP is high, but what you get out of it is so good. It's dirt cheap. Versatility is there just in terms of symbols too. If you've been lucky so far, in a pinch, it's not terrible to throw this away for a symbol.
I say we throw it in grade.
Boom.
The next card is funny.
Survivor.
All right. So it's Aquinnah. So it's unique, so you can only have one copy. It's a 4-cost asset with it's 3 XP. You're looking at a willpower symbol and a agility symbol, so it's a mix. And it's an ally. She's got 1 health and 4 brains, so she's pretty tough. It says it's fast reaction. When an enemy attacks you, exhaust Aquinnah and deal 1 horror to her. Deal that enemy's damage to any enemy at your location instead. You still take horror dealt by the attack. So it's pretty much just take the horror and deal the enemy's damage back to itself at worst case scenario, or deal it to something else.
So just a couple things, and these I guess aren't that important, but I'm just wondering why they chose to change the wording on this copy versus the other one. So the core set version says that you can attack or put that damage onto another enemy at your location, and then this one says any enemy at your location.
Well, that's probably part of the upgrade cost, right? Like the upgrade cost is you went from 1 XP to 2 XP. The health and sanity is the same. You gained a symbol, which doesn't really matter that much. You save yourself 1 resource, but it now makes her ability more useful in every situation, as opposed to the non-upgraded one where you can only use it if there's another enemy at the location. Whereas this
that's what I mean. This says the first version says to another enemy at your location, and this one says to any enemy at your location. Isn't it the same thing? Any and another.
Another means some other one. So if there's no other enemy at the location, that ability doesn't trigger because you can't deal the damage back to itself.
Yeah.
This one allows you to deal the damage back to itself.
The same one. Okay.
Right. So it's always in play. It's always useful when you get attacked. Whereas the non-upgraded one, or the 1 XP one, is only useful when there's 2 enemies at your location.
I didn't even think of that for some reason. That's weird. All right, my bad.
Yeah, I was flipping it a bit, like back and forth, and I'm looking, and I'm like,
It just the wording on it was just weird to me. I don't know. But thank you, John. I should have seen that myself.
I mean, if you're already playing her
for 2 XP, go do it. It's one cheap. It costs you 1 cheaper to bring in. Mm-hmm. You know, in Survivor, which is not exactly the most resource intensive class, that one saving might be pretty good.
I mean, it is nice that you can do everything back. Like, there's no limitations. It's not saying, non-elites or this or that and things. So, you could really get one of these big heavy guys that are throwing punches your way, and just direct all that right back into it. Mm-hmm. I think you're gonna have unless you're comboing this with charisma and all the other stuff. I think you might have a hard time finding an ally slot open for her
because of Sylvester.
Yeah,
and how good Sylvester is. That is true. I mean, you do have charisma, though, right? Charisma is an option, right? To get the right. You're looking at it. You're looking at Ashcan and Wendy, which even Ashcan. I think there's some decent out of faction. Zero cost. 0 XP allies in there, so charisma is not a terrible thing that would be completely out of the question, right?
So, Shomar, you did up Ashcan, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Were you looked upon to be like a finisher or a heavy damage dealer?
I was looked upon to be everything.
Yeah, right. But
freaking everything.
But that middle of the pack, like mediocre, like I can do it. But I'm not dropping like 3 damage on it. I'm not getting.
No, that's true.
I'm not getting multiple clues this turn. Like, I'll go get the clue from that location, but I'm not clearing out that location.
That's true.
I'll go and fight this guy, but I'll bide time until someone else comes. To finish him off. Like,
but that's the thing, though.
I think this is more defensive than it is like, I'm gonna go here. This guy's gonna fight me. I'm gonna redirect everything back to him to kill him. Like, I think this is just like oh shit, I'm in over my head. This guy's potentially gonna kill me. I just direct it all back to him defensively rather than like being in the plan to do it offensively.
No, but I think this allows you to go into situations where somebody may not want to go into because there's a chance something might happen. A monster's going to move in. Hey, I'm going to move in. I'm going to take the clue. I'll take that hit. Right? Or it's actually when an enemy attacks you.
Even attack of opportunity.
So attack of opportunity. So I could go in there, take the clue, eat the hit, exhaust her, dealer 1 horror, and deal damage back to the enemy, which might actually kill it. Mm-hmm. So, whereas somebody would have, even if you had Rex who could gather all the clues, Rex would be like, oh, wait, okay, I need Roland to go in there and kill that thing. Now I can go in and go get it. Whereas, if you're running her, you can just go in, and because your survivor tends to not be a very specified class, you can go in and clean up that one clue, clean up the one enemy that's floating around, clean up the one enemy that has a doom token sitting on it, kind of thing, right? And it's almost like, I guess, action efficiency, if you want to think of it that way, and allows the other classes to focus on whatever they're good at.
Yeah, so I was kind of leaning towards above average, but you're really talking me up to maybe it's good.
I think so. I would,
especially for the reuse, right? Like, it's not like she goes away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're gonna get 4 out of this, right? So 4 is a pretty big number in terms of numbers and counters that you can deal with, because you're not always going to be at enemy locations. So sometimes you'll kill the enemy before you even have to attack, and you'll never have to use it. But you know that even if you don't, maybe it allows me to do, only one attack and not have to burn the fight resources to deal it that second time. I know I can just sit there and let it attack me, and I'll just kill it when it attacks.
If you can use it for the attack of opportunity, I think that's where it's probably
pretty huge.
The most.
That should count.
The one thing though that holds it back is you still take the horror, right? So I mean, you can't be going buck wild.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Above, maybe it is still above average. Maybe it is.
All I'm gonna say is, so you guys say above average?
Yeah, that's where I would put it.
I'm gonna say, if you look at her subtitle, The Forgotten Daughter, ever since Peter Sylvester came out, I totally forgot this card existed, because Peter Sylvester is a god among men. He is an Adonis. He is the man. And he cannot be beat. I understand her ability is great. It's a fantastic ability to have. It allows you to play defensively and do a lot of things and not worry about attack of opportunities or whatever. But Peter coming in, giving you that evade, giving you that willpower, and giving you the ability to heal horror every single turn makes me forget about this Aquinnah. So she's just average in my mind.
Ooh.
Average? Wow, all the way back, eh? Just because we had Peter Sylvester as like great.
Yeah. You guys are saying above average. If I say average, she's still above average. So I'm just saying.
Okay, I guess
I'm not dropping her rank for you guys, but she's, in my mind, because of Peter and what he does for the team.
You don't think Peter and her together with charisma would be an amazing combination?
Oh, that would be godlike. Yes, that would be godlike. But Peter's still the leader in that situation.
Oh, okay. So Peter is the red dragon Zord, the one that holds it all together, and she's just a leg or
That's
something?
right. Because if you had her and Peter was taking that horror off the attack dealt, oh my god. That's just an unbelievable engine. But that's still very expensive as well. Yeah. And if you guys put her above average, that's fine.
Yeah, slide her to the bottom of above average. You brought her down a bit.
She's the forgotten daughter for a reason, man.
Yeah. All right, try again. This is another interesting one that I don't know, Shomar, if you committed this one in your deck, but right now I'm wondering if I need to slot. I'm on the fence about this card. Try again is a survivor asset, 3, and gives you 2 will. You're gonna exhaust it after a skill test is failed. If a skill card you own is committed to that test, exhaust and return the card to your hand. I really like this card in theory.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if I'm really pitching stuff in there, I'm probably hoping to pass anyway.
Yeah.
Unless you have stacks of lucky in your hand.
Yeah.
Right? Because then lucky is considered a fail.
Yeah.
So you would fail,
it goes against the other survivor cards.
you would take all the cards back, and then you'd still get +2, and then you'd hopefully passed it at that point in time. Right.
But this is also contingent upon the amount of skills you play in your deck to make this card actually viable.
Yes. Yeah.
So, as Jameson said, in theory, I like it. I just don't know how much it would get played right now.
Right. Right.
So it's saying it, and let's just get this cleared out of the way. It's saying if a skill card you own is committed, so it has to actually be a skill, right?
Yeah.
You're not using a card for a skill check, you know.
It has to be a skill, and it has to be you, right? It's a skill card you own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if somebody throws something else in and you fail, they don't get it back. Right, so it has to be you throwing into skill checks, which
I mean, maybe
limits it even more, right?
Yeah, but can you get it? Can I get it back if I throw it into yours?
Yeah, you can.
Right.
Yes.
So maybe that'll bring it up a little.
That's the best part of it, I think.
You know, Now if I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should do this, John, you're the unluckiest guy in the world. And, but I want to be nice. Okay, here you go. And then after you fail, I'm just like, take it back.
Oh, okay. You pulled that fail. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. Like, so this costs you 3 XP, and it costs you, $2 to put out. I'm assuming you want to see this early.
Yeah.
So you're probably running 2. But then wouldn't you just put 2 copies of whatever skill you would normally run?
That's true.
Right, like, okay, so I failed. Oh, wait, look, I drew another one. Okay, that's great. And it didn't cost me 6 XP and $2, right? Because skills are usually, for the most part, cheaper than this, so.
Yeah, it's the problem with combo cards, and then, you have to think, how do you rate them? Because what if the combo doesn't come in order, right? Like, what if you don't see this, right?
Yeah. Till you have to start spending
dead.
all your skills, right?
Yeah. Is it a dead draw?
Yeah. I think right now. Let's see. What do we have? I think it's probably below average.
I could probably
that
go
would be
that.
my choice. That would be my thing right now.
I mean, there hasn't been that many times when I'm like, obviously when difficulty level goes up, yes, but we're looking at just a standard game. I think that there's not many times when I'm like, oh crap, I've just lost that card.
Yes, yeah.
And then that, if I'm like, if I could have had that card back again, the game would tremendously swing the other way. So
right, yeah.
So what did we say?
My choice was below average. That was my choice.
Show me, you agreed, right?
Yeah,
I think we all agreed. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, that's everything, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have we're gonna come back later on and do a entire top to bottom look at the neutral cards, and then after that we're going to do our official Dunwich recap, talking about plenty of spoilers, our experiences. So we hope you guys join us for that, because we'd love to see some good action in the chat and make it more of a roundtable discussion than a one-way conversations. So closing, thank you everyone again for joining us on this Arkham Tuesday, Lost in Time and Space. John, Shomar, you guys have anything to say in closing?
No. I look forward to dealing with the neutrals, and I look forward to that kind of closing out scenario and experience talk. I think that'll be a little different, and it'll be pretty interesting to see how everybody played their stuff. What are some people's highlights? Experiences, memories, how they felt things went. So that'll be pretty cool.
Agreed.
Yeah, totally excited to hear people's takes on this cycle as a whole.
Yeah, our first cycle is coming in the books, so everything will get compared to this one. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. If you liked what you just saw, if you stuck around to the end, give us a thumbs up. It always helps us. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, so that way you know when we pop in and do these. All right. Yep. We'll catch you guys later. Happy playing.
Later.